Shalom, giving all praises due to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through his anointed, Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai. This is the brother priest Ramah. I'm coming at you with a volume 2. It's a continuation from volume 1 of the flat earth and science according to the Holy Bible. In the first volume, I proved and showed according to the scriptures that the earth is motionless, meaning that the earth is not spinning around at 1,000 miles per hour. I also covered that the earth is not rotating around the sun or anything, but mainly they tell us in the school system through Esau that the earth is rotating around the sun. And that's what I'm going to cover more of the planets in volume 3. But in this volume, I'm going to cover how the earth is flat and the dome, firmament. Because people laugh at when you say, oh, the earth is like a dome. The Bible doesn't even say dome. Okay, so let's just throw dome out there. It says firmament. But when you get the understanding of the layout of the firmament, it's the shape. And it takes the figure of a dome. That's when people get this, this conception of the earth is a dome and a dome. Because you hear many people that are flat earthers. By the way, I'm not a flat earther. I'm an Israelite. But just like how I was doing the research, you would even do basic research on flat earth. They'll tell you one of the main people that believed that the earth was flat was the Israelites. I even did some research. I went through many Bible dictionaries from like the 18th century, the early 19th century, and it was showing you the same exact thing, that the Israelites believed that there was a flat earth. It was an earth surrounded by like a mountain range, which would be Antarctica, which we're going to understand that the earth is like a pool, and then it shows you like a rainbow type firmament over it, like an arch over the earth. Every single thing that I looked up, but they said how the Israelites viewed the earth was exactly like that. Never once is it written in records that the Israelites said that they believed in a planet, or they believed in some type of Mars or other galaxies or anything outside of the firmament. The scriptures always said above the firmament was water. I believe that's Psalms 148 and verse 4. It tells you the heavens, and O ye heavens of heavens, and the waters above in the heavens. Okay, and above that, like in the last 3 verses in Ezekiel, the first chapter, okay, the last 3 verses in Ezekiel, the first chapter, tells you above the firmament is the throne of the Most High. So where is these planets and all that? There's no planets. Okay, that goes back to the Pythagoreans and Pythagoras, going back to the ancient Egyptians. It goes back to Copernicus, all these Edomites following after ancient Egyptian customs. But I'm going to cover that more in volume 3. Like I said, this one is going to be mainly covering the firmament, the dome, and how the earth is flat. And Isaiah, the 40th chapter, the 22nd verse. Because a lot of Israelites who just trusted NASA and a Russia Today article above the scriptures, they'll be like, oh, see, the earth is round. And then they just read Isaiah chapter 40 verse 22 and be like, see, it says the circle. But you guys, it says circle. It didn't say that the earth is a ball, though. There's a difference between a sphere and a circle. Okay, and we're going to cover that later on. Okay, and realize a sphere and a circle has 2 different angles. The Lord said that he saw John in the book of Revelations, the 7th chapter. He said that he saw 4 angels on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth. Now, there's only 2 sides to a sphere. But there's 4 90-degree angles to a circle that equals up to 360 degrees, which is completion. And it said that they grabbed hold on the earth. How could you hold a ball? How could you grab hold on a ball? How could 4 people grab a ball? But you could grab a flat surface, though. You could hold a flat surface. 4 people on 4 hands could hold a flat surface. You see people do that every time a Negro gets shot at a funeral. Okay, it'd be 4 guys on the end of the casket. But how could you do that if that was a ball? How could 4 guys hold up a ball? So, and it said that in the book of Isaiah, he was going to deliver Israel from the 4 corners of the earth. So we're gonna get more into that how the circle is explaining a disc. Okay, and it's not talking about some big NASA space globe ball, man. Like I said, that goes back to Copernicus. The Bible never taught a globe. The Israelites never believed in a globe in a solar system, man. Okay, like with Paul in the book of Acts, even when he got to Athens, those Hellenist Israelites were still following those Greek customs, and he got to where? Mars' hill. And because Mars is an ancient war god, an ancient Greek war god. That's where you get Mars from. And what did Paul say to those men who believed in Mars? He said, you guys are superstitious, man. You guys are superstitious, meaning that you guys believe in something that is not real. There's no evidence for this thing. There's no origin. You just made this stuff up out of thin air, man. But see, the Bible deals with reality. The Bible deals with true science. So I'm going to cover how the earth is flat. Let's get straight into it. Let's get the verses that show that the earth is flat and how the firmament takes the shape of a dome. This is Genesis, the 1st chapter, and I'm going to get straight into it, the 6th verse. And God said, and this God here is talking about Christ and the angels. Because when you read God in the Hebrew, okay, when it says this in the Hebrew, it says Alahaya, which means judges or rulers or angels. So when it says, and God said, it's talking about the angels, because the Most High is like the architect. He laid out the blueprint for the earth. The angels are the constructors. They're the constructors. They're the ones who actually is building the earth for the Most High, while the Most High is telling the angels the layout of the earth. So verse 6, it says, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Verse 7, and God said, let the firmament, it says, and God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the waters from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. So it's showing you that it was nothing but water. Because when you read the 2nd verse, it says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So it was just nothing but water. There's no black holes. There's no galaxies. There's no portals. It's just water. And within this water, the Most High forms like this little realm, so the angels could build an atmosphere for man to dwell and live in while they're in the middle of the waters. Like what the scriptures say, he that have ears to hear, let him hear. If this is going over your head, maybe this is just too deep for you. But a brother who understands and has a spiritual eye will clearly see what this is saying. So it's showing you that in the middle of the water, he makes some type of firmament. Now let's get to the point of how it's flat. It tells you that in verse 9 and 10. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together onto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. Verse 10. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw it was good, that it was good. So he said that the earth, which is the dry land, and the sea sit in one place. Now look at this cup right here. This is a measuring cup. You see how the water sits directly, exactly on line? You see that? They call that what? Sea level. Because water, look at this. No matter how you bend it, water could never bend. Water always lays flat. So when it says that, and God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together onto one place, it's showing you that the water is sitting in like a pool. It's like a pool. The water is sitting in something in one place, just like this right here. And can you fall out of this? No, you cannot. Just like a swimming pool. When you swim to the edge of the swimming pool, do you fall out of the swimming pool? No, you do not. You just get to the borders. Because the scriptures speak about the ends of the earth. And we're going to cover that in a little while. The scriptures speak about the ends of the earth. And what Esau found out, what your top elites found out, it's Antarctica. Okay? Antarctica is the ends of the earth. Just like how the pool has an end, and as an outside, which keeps the water within, that's how Antarctica is. It's keeping the ocean and the dwelling places of all the other continents like Australia, Africa, America, Russia, China within it. So we're sitting, the earth, like what it says, and God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together onto one place. So we're sitting in one place, which means that the earth would have to be flat. That's how come when we go to Revelations, let's go to Revelations. Revelations chapter 20. Let's get straight to it. Revelation chapter 20 verse 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. And this is talking about Esau, the so-called white man. This is how come the whole earth believes that the Jews are white. That the earth is a ball. That there's no such thing as God. That man came from a monkey. Because this man, the so-called white man, is lying to everybody, man. He's the devil that the Bible speaks about. And if you have a tough time swallowing that pill, then vomit it up and drop dead and get ready and just get ready for the wrath of the Most High, man. Because if you can't see how this man has fooled and deceived everybody, even his own race, he got his own people walking around here calling themselves white. They don't even know that they're the Edomites, calling themselves white people. You're Esau. You're not even white. You're red. So you deceived everybody. This man has to change. He's changed all the he's turned the food, genetically modified the food. He has changed the weather. He has a harp system. And then when we call him the devil, you got blacks and Hispanics out there calling, oh, full of hate. No, we're not full of hate. We hate the works that this man does to the earth, man. That's what we hate. We don't hate him because he's white. We hate him because he's a demon, man. He's a liar. He's a deceiver. That's why we hate this man. Revelation chapter 20 verse 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are what? In the four corners of the earth. Now wait a minute. When you read, it says four corners. I looked up the word firmament, right? It says firmament. This is from Genesis, the first chapter. Firmament. From the Hebrew, H7549. Require. Okay? And it says an extended surface, solid, expanse, base, flat. If you know what the base is, if you know mathematics and shapes, the base of the shape is the bottom of it. So it's even, they're showing you that the bottom of this, the firmament is a flat base. And then it goes on to say, visible arch of the sky. What is an arch? You guys ever been to St. Louis? You ever seen the St. Louis arch? It takes the shape of what? The rainbow. Ever wonder why the rainbow takes that shape? Because according to Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, the 43rd chapter, it said, look at the rainbow, how it bends in the firmament of the Most High. Because the firmament above us bends like a dome. That's why they call it the rainbow, like a bower's arch. It bends like a dome type shape. When you go further on in the lexicon, it says the firmament of heaven spread out like a what? Like a hemisphere above the earth. What is the etymology for the word hemisphere? Hemi means half. A sphere is a ball, right? So what is half of a ball? What is half of a ball? A dome. So it's even showing you that it's a dome-shaped figure. So when we read about the four corners of the earth, it said that the base is flat. It's a flat circle. So when you read Isaiah chapter 40 verse 22, and it says that he sits upon the circle of the earth, it means what it says. The earth is a circle. It takes the shape of a circle. Now back to Revelation chapter 20 verse 8, and shall go up to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog. That's how come you got Russia and China knocking on America's financial door right now. They're getting ready to drop the dollar. Gog and Magog is the Russians and the Chinese. This is how we know we're approaching the end of this world now. This whole tension with North Korea and America's missile defense system in Poland, this whole thing with Jerusalem is all going to trigger out to a world war, where all these nations are going to have a thermonuclear war, and guess who's going to come back? yes, the king himself, Yahushua, is going to come and destroy these nations. So we're approaching the end of these Gentiles, okay, the so-called white man, the Arab, these dirty Africans. We're approaching the end of their salvation. And it's going to be Israel's salvation. We're going to be the next rulers on the earth. The so-called blacks, that's right, the so-called blacks, so-called West Indians, Haitians, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, and the rest of us that scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, us in Christ is going to rule this whole entire earth. And you so-called white people and all you other nations, you're going to be our slaves. And you're going to serve us in righteousness for keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. And the ones of y'all that buck up, we putting you in chains, and we're going to beat the hell out of you. That's what the Holy Bible teaches. Okay? That's what Christ teaches. That's what God teaches. That's what the prophets teach. From Genesis to Revelations, it's the same message, man. Okay? So back to Revelations chapter 20, verse 8. And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, showing you that it's a circle. There's only 4 90-degree angles to a circle, but there's only 2 sides to a sphere. And what also cuts that is Isaiah the 22nd chapter. Isaiah mentions the judgment of the Lord being thrown at somebody like a ball. Showing you that Isaiah knew the difference between a ball and a circle. Don't test Isaiah's intellect like we were stupid, like the Israelites didn't know the difference between the circle and the sphere. We're the most intelligent nation on the face of the earth because we get the wisdom straight from the Creator, which is our God, who chose us to be His chosen people. So when we get the message from the Most High, it's going to be the correct message, man. Isaiah meant what he wrote. There's a circle of the earth. And it says in verse... later on in verse 8, it says, to gather them to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. The point is in verse 9. Verse 9, they went upon the breadth of the earth. Now what is the earth again? Let's go back to Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1 verse 9. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. Verse 10. And God called the dry land earth. So the earth is sitting within this. So when it says they went upon the breadth of the earth, when I actually look up breadth in the Greek, because the New Testament was in Greek, it's G4114, and it's plateaus. And the root for that is G4116, which is plateaus, and it means flat. If you don't believe me, go look this up yourself. Yes, it means flat. So when it says they went upon the breadth of the earth, it means they went upon the flatness of the earth. That's how come in Genesis chapter 1 verse 9 it says, and God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered onto one place. Just like this, the water is sitting into one place, and it has edges of border, which is Antarctica. This is why the U.S. government had an operation called Operation Hydra, because they were studying other scholars and other British expeditors. That when they had expeditions throughout the ocean, you have this one British explorer by the name of James Cook, if I'm not mistaken. His name is James Cook. And he said that when he reached Antarctica, it was like an ice wall. Because when you first get to Antarctica, it's like a wall of ice. Okay, this is the end of the ocean. Okay, this goes around it. And the scientists, that's how come the scientists call this the Antarctic Circle. Because they found out that the earth is actually a circle, and Antarctica is a landmass, which is the ends of the earth that's embodying, that's keeping the earth within. We're going to prove this according to scripture. Let's get this. Alright, let's get Psalms real quick. Let's get Psalms chapter 74. And I believe it's 17. Yeah, Psalms chapter 74, verse 17. It says, thou hast set all the borders of the earth. Thou hast made summer and winter. When you look up borders in the Hebrew, it's H1367, which means border, a boundary. So it's showing you that the earth has a boundary. But you might say, but you saying that it was the sea that has a boundary. The Bible is showing you that even the ocean has a limit to where it cannot pass, which would be Antarctica. Let's get that. Let's get Job chapter 27. chapter 26. This is Job chapter 26. And verse 10. It says, he has compassed the waters. Which waters? The ocean. The same waters that we read in Genesis chapter 1 verses 9 and 10. That he called the sea. He has compassed. You realize compass means to be around something. If you say a group of people compass me, meaning they came around you like in a circle. So it says that he has compassed the waters with bounds, showing you that the earth takes the shape of a circle and that the water is sitting within this circle. And it says he has compassed the water with bounds. When you look up bounds in the Hebrew, it's H2706, which means limit and a boundary. Showing you that the ocean is actually like what Genesis 1 said. It's actually sitting in something. It has a boundary, it has a limit, like a swimming pool. Okay, let's get Proverbs chapter 8. And you realize I'm giving you nothing but scriptures. Okay, let's get Proverbs chapter 8. Bear with me for a second. Proverbs chapter 8, and I'll start from verse 26. This is Proverbs 8 and 26, and the point is in 29. It says, while as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the height, it says, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. So this is, when you get to all understanding, this is Solomon speaking about wisdom, how wisdom has always been here. And when you get to understand that the wisdom is the word of the Lord, which would be Christ. So Christ has always been here. But he's doing it, and he's speaking about in regards to wisdom here. So when he's talking about it, he's always been here. Wisdom has always been with the Most High. That's how come the Most High made the earth so intellectual. Everything has a purpose. If we hungry, he made food. That's why we have plants. Something with a brain made this. Okay? When you get tired, you call it nighttime. Everybody goes to sleep at nighttime. Well, at least most people go to sleep. Because your body is a certain chemical that's induced to your body that when you're in a dark room, you fall asleep and you become more restful. That's how he made a side for you to get dark. That's a time for you to rest. Okay? He gave you hands so you could pick up things. Something with the brain made this whole earth. That's what Solomon is saying here. Okay? There's no way a big bang could just blow things up and then everything just has order. Everything that's formed has order to it. No way, man. Just like your car, it has GPS. You don't see the architect who actually built your car, right? But it has a creator. And the person who laid out the blueprint for your car specified special parts of this vehicle, what it should do and what it should not do. When you press this button, the trunk open. When you do that, just like your body, somebody designed it. Okay, so let's get back to the topic at hand, how the ocean is sitting in a pool. This is Proverbs chapter 8, verse 26. It says, while as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the deep, and I looked up that word compass in there, and it's the same circle that you read in Isaiah chapter 40, verse 22. And you realize it says compass because you get compass, a circle. That's how when you use a compass, it has to be what? Laid flat. In order for you to know the four winds, which is what? The north, the south, and the east, and the west. You have to lay a compass flat in order for you to get the correct direction. Showing you that we're on a flat surface in order for you to tell which way to go. This is Proverbs chapter 8, verse 28. So we see in 27 that it's a circle once again. Verse 28, it says, when he established the clouds above, when he had strengthened the fountains of the deep. Verse 29, when he gave to the sea. Wait a minute. Doesn't this sound familiar? Genesis chapter 1, verse 9 and 10. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered unto one place, like a pool, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called the sea. So we're talking about the sea. So Proverbs chapter 8, verse 29, when he gave to the sea, which is the ocean, his decree that the water should not pass his commandment, showing you that the sea has a limit, which is Antarctica. And this is why the U.S. government had Operation High Jump, because when they sent Admiral Richard E. Byrd out there, you guys should look this up, because I can't put all this information in the video, it'll just be too long. But when they sent Admiral Richard E. Byrd out there, they said that the planes was coming back, they was falling, that they couldn't get up to a certain altitude. They said that the mountain range of Antarctica is the highest mountain range in the whole entire world, man, on the whole earth. Because the farther you go out, the higher the mountain range is. And the colder it gets, to where man can't even survive. That's how come they formed right after Operation High Jump, the Antarctica Treaty. Talking about they only go out there for science. They're only going out there for science. What they're doing is they're trying to figure out that firmament. And they still haven't figured it out. That's how come they blocked that off from the whole world. Because before the 17th century, anybody could go to Antarctica. Now nobody can go to Antarctica. Then you got people that try to be simple, but what are you talking about? I know people ain't went to Antarctica on a trip. Yeah, the peninsula, you clowns, yeah, they went to the peninsula. Trying to be simple. You can't go to the South Pole. Only top elites could go to the South Pole. Nobody could buy a plane ticket to go to the South Pole. Trust me, I looked that up and down. No planes even take shortcuts through the South Pole. They don't even fly. The planes are not even allowed to fly to the tip region around the ice wall of Antarctica. The government shut that all off because the government knows that's the ends of the earth. And that firmament goes over all of us. It takes the shape of a dome. That's how come we read, for the definition, it says, for firmament, it says a visible arch of the sky. Because it's an arch that is shielding and protecting us in. And it says, and later on in lexicon, like a hemisphere above the earth. What is a hemisphere? A half of a ball, which is a dome. And so the sun and the moon is within this firmament and it's rotating at the highest point. That's how come they had to fake the moon landing. Because they had Operation Paperclip, which was to bring in Nazi-German scientists. Okay, and one of them, his name was, I believe, Werner von Braun or something like that. Some German Edomite name. And when they was doing the test, they found out that rockets couldn't reach a certain limit. So he was good friends with Walt Disney, and they had to fake the whole moon landing, man. Because they realized they couldn't get up there. And even when that man died, on his tombstone, he put Psalms chapter 19, verse 1. Matter of fact, let's get Psalms 19, verse 1. Let's see what Psalm chapter 19, verse 1 says. This is Psalms chapter 19. Verse 1, the heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. So what the scientists came to the conclusion is that this, what they call magnetic field, which they found out during Operation Fishbowl, they call it the magnetic field, is a boundary that no man can go past. This firmament is like an arch that goes over the whole circle of this disc-shaped earth. That's how come one of the first guys to reach the stratosphere, his name was Auguste Piccard. He was one of the friends of Nikola Tesla. He was the first man to reach the stratosphere. And even he said when he got there, when he looked down, he said the earth had the shape of a flat disc. And he said it looked like a disc, like a CD. That's your disc, a flat circle. And that's what the earth is, according to the Holy Bible, and according to science, and according to history, man. Ancient civilizations have always realized that the earth was flat. That only around when the Greeks and the Romans came in, which is the Edomites, this whole globe thing came into play. So, you know what I'm saying? There's more to this topic. I could cover more, but I don't want to drag it on too long because I know the attention span of my people is very short. I don't want to bore you guys and talk you guys to death. So I hope you guys got the understanding with that. I have on my Instagram, it's the same as the name of the page, Priest Rob Mob. If you guys have any questions, you guys could always feel free to ask me in regards to this or any other topic. If you coming on my page with this foolishness, like, oh, he's crazy and he's stupid, I'm blocking you straight up. I'm not even tolerating your foolishness, man. Alright? If you don't like the video, just press dislike and keep it moving. If you dislike what I say and think what I'm saying is a lie, why don't you bring your scriptures out and show me where I'm wrong? If not, you're getting blocked. That's it. So this is your brother, Ramath. I'm coming at you with volume 2. I'm going to do a volume 3 based upon the planets, Lord Most High willing, soon. And volume 4 will be on John chapter 14, verses 1 through 4, how it's not talking about planets. Okay, so with that, giving all praises due to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through his son, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Atah.